Well, hello, I'm David Freeman with Is That Really in the Bible? Okay, we come to the next program entitled The Commanded Disconnect. We're talking about how to build a relationship with God without church and religion. And this program is about the commanded disconnect. You know, I have found that people do not like a God of absolutes. There's basically two things that people love about God when it comes to religion, and that is they want to hear about grace, they want to hear that they can be forgiven, and they want to hear that God is a great blessing machine. And you can build a multi-million-dollar religious empire if that's all you talk about. The fact that God just wants to forgive, or the illusion that all it's about in our relationship with God is God forgiving us. That's all He cares about. He's just a grace machine, and He's just a blessing machine. And if you teach those two premises right there, forgiveness, grace, and that God is a blessing machine, you can build a multi-million-dollar empire, a religious empire, if that's all you talk about. Now, a lot of people don't like a God of absolutes. The Ten Commandments are not 10 suggestions, they are absolutes. And people do not like to hear about absolutes. I don't care whose absolutes. I don't care if it's my boss man. I don't care if it's my wife. I don't care if it's my husband. I don't care. And I sure don't care if it's God's absolutes. I don't want to hear about it. Now, with one of the 10 Commandments, God gives us the way to connect with Him. We're talking about connectivity with a great being called God, the creator of the universe. And in one of the 10 Commandments, God gives us the way to connect with Him. Now think about this. Think about this. Think about all the ways that are out there. Think about all the religious books, all the religious CDs and DVDs, all the religious conferences that are out there, all of the religious programming, the 450,000 churches that dot our land, all of the denominations that are out there, and they all claim to know God, and they can help you know God. But suppose God had His own method for knowing Him that had nothing to do with the things I just listed. God has a way. God has instructions for knowing Him, how to connect with Him. Well, God does, and it's called the seventh day Sabbath, the day of connectivity where you disconnect and connect with God. Now, I can just hear someone say, well, okay, Sabbath, I go to church every Sunday. I'm not talking about going to church on Sunday. Sunday is not the Sabbath day. Sunday is the first work day of the week. What are you supposed to be doing on the first work day of the week? Well, you guessed it, you're supposed to be working. That's what God tells you to do. Now let's take a look at it. Exodus 20 and verse 9. 6 days shall you labor, with Sunday being the first day of the week. Look it up for yourself in your dictionary. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Listen, God never intended for a 45-minute worship service on Sunday morning to be enough. Now, I know we think it's enough, but He never intended that, for some few-minute worship service to be enough. I mean, it reminds me of a program I used to hear on the radio. It came on about noontime, and it said, "This has been God's Minute with Pastor so-and-so." Well, that's about the only time people even have for God is 1 minute. And they're lucky if they can do that. 1 minute is all I'll give you, God.